Well, hi everyone. It's Bruce Firestone here, and I'm going to talk for a few minutes about a recent Committee of Adjustment application that we put in the city of Belleville for a minor variance. You might say, well, that's kind of a boring subject, Bruce, but actually I think you might find this kind of interesting. Here's the building that we purchased about 7 or 8 months ago now. It's on the main street in downtown Belleville, and you can see the building was in pretty rough shape. And we are spending quite a bit of time and effort to rehabilitate this building structurally and physically and in every respect. You can see it here. This is the front elevation with this really ugly facade on it, a terrible brick veneer, and in the back it's even worse. And this is that's what it looked like inside when I first went to look at it. And the picture on the right there is actually this kind of weird sticking out piece at the back. That was a former banquet hall for the China Gate restaurant in downtown Belleville, and it really was an incredible mess inside and outside. This is kind of what the building looked like. The top right-hand side of my screen here. This is what it looked like. You can see from the cars in the 1970s. On the left-hand side at the top, that's what it looked like when we bought it in October of 2020. And then you can see the kinds of stuff that we're doing now. For example, taking off this really terrible metal facade. You can see my cursor moving around here, so that is the bottom left. And then, as you can see, we're unveiling really basically a facade that goes back almost 150 years. I think it's a 149-year-old building. It's just an amazing building, but it had been very badly treated. This is our project coordinator in Belleville, Mark Turner, and you can see some of the work that he's doing. He's just a master renovator and rehabilitating these, really, I call them antique buildings, is really his forte. And on the right-hand side, you can see where that sort of weird sticking out piece was. It turns out that it was the old stables. And everybody told me, oh, yeah, just tear it down, tear it down. I'm not tearing down anything. And when Mark and his team went in there and they obviously took out all of the more modern materials that had, excuse my language, have bastardized this project, you can see that they unveiled 150-year-old, stone walls and classic brick timber that goes back 150 years, original growth timber, 100-foot beams. It's just incredible. And this will be some kind of an artisan space. You know, people who are makers and shapers will probably use this space. Um, so this is just the third floor, and you can see on the right-hand side, we are saving all of the radiators. I like hot water heating. I like it better than forced air heating, and we're saving as many of them as we can. I think we've saved them all. New windows are on the way. And the top floor of this building will have 6 smaller apartments. The second floor will have 4 larger apartments, and then the ground floor will have that artisan space that I talked about in the sticking out portion, and the front will have 3 retail bays. This is the elevation of what the building will look like. On the top left, that is the elevation facing Front Street. The top right is the elevation that will face the alleyway in the back. And then that weird sticking out portion will be I don't know if you can see my cursor moving, but will be the artisan space. That's the elevation there. What I really wanted to show you, and this is what we went to the Committee of Adjustment for, was what to do with this space at the back of the building. So this is the ground floor plan as it will be when we complete the building, hopefully later this year. And what we did recently was we rented this portion here, the lower portion here, to Loyalist College to start a business incubator, really a startup factory. And then the middle bay, I think, will be some kind of a cafe or food services. And then the top part of your screen here will be something else. I don't know yet, but probably middle bay will be a cafe, and then the lower bay will be, the startup factory. So what to do with this space, which when we submitted the building permit just showed it as storage space. But really, that's not what we wanted to do with that space. And you'll see on the next slide or a couple of slides down what we wanted to do with it. This is just the media release that we put out with Loyalist College when they put their business incubator, business accelerator, they call it here, together. And it's a really exciting new initiative for downtown Belleville. And, I said to the president and the vice presidents at Loyalist as we went through the negotiations, it doesn't take many entrepreneurs to change a town. So I think this will really have an impact. So what I talk to Loyalist about is having an entrepreneur in residence program. I'm the former entrepreneur in residence at the Telfer School of Management at the University of Ottawa. And I think it's very important to have some coaching and mentoring and maybe some teaching as well going on. I think startups that are mentored and coached tend to grow faster and they tend to survive longer. And sure enough, after the media release went out, one of my former students who's become like this amazing master marketing mind in Canada and the United States, Ryan Anderson, reached out to me. And he said, Bruce, I was born in Belleville. And I said, yeah, I know that, Ryan. He said, well, is there anything I can do, to help with the startup incubator? And I said, well, what we would like to do, and I think it's the next slide, what we would like to do is we would like to have a studio apartment at grade, so right on the ground floor at the back where the entrepreneur in residence could live. He said, well, that'd be pretty interesting. I might want to come down and help out, volunteer for a couple of weeks. And I said, that's really great. So here is the slide that I wanted to show you. And so that sort of blank space that I showed a few slides earlier is now shown here in this slide and shown to the Committee of Adjustment as a little one-bedroom apartment. I think it's 540 square feet or something like that. And so what you can have is you can have an entrepreneur in residence live here. He or she has a bedroom, a kitchen, a little living room, some storage area, bathroom, etc. And he or she can then just within the building come into the incubator without going outside. And what's interesting too is you can go to the cafe from the floors above, from either side of the cafe into the cafe, so that food services are available to everybody, including the entrepreneur in residence, without ever having to go outside. Belleville's warmer than Ottawa, but it's still not comparable to Florida or Arizona. So this is something that I wanted to go to the Committee of Adjustment to get approval of. And that's what we did. Now, interestingly enough, the city of Belleville has a new official plan, and my wife, Dawn Firestone, went through the official plan, and she found this in there, that conversion of a portion of first floor commercial uses that is not street facing in the city center to residential units shall be permitted. That's really important. But unfortunately, this was in their proposed new official plan, which has not yet been adopted. That's why I was in front of the Committee of Adjustment for a minor variance. But it is consistent with what I hope will soon be legal everywhere in the downtown core of Belleville. And by the way, I believe that it should be permitted pretty much widely everywhere. That's just my own view. And we had to also demonstrate to the committee that we have enough parking for the uses that we have, including this new micro suite or small one-bedroom apartment on the ground floor, and we did. This was just a calculation that showed that. So the Committee of Adjustment did approve it, and I think it becomes official shortly. And we are proceeding to build a studio apartment, or sorry, not a studio, one-bedroom apartment on the ground floor at grade at the back of this building that will serve the building. And I wanted to show you this as well. This is a plaza that I built years and years ago, I think in the 1980s. And it's a little village of, I don't know how many people, but it's in the township, what was the township of West Carleton before it was absorbed by the city of Ottawa. And it's about a 10,000 square foot plaza. It was quite a successful plaza. It had meat and groceries here. On the left-hand side, it had a lickbo, that's what my kids call it, LCBO, that's where you could buy alcohol. It had a beer store. I think it had a chiropractor office, Kanata Post, and of course it has to have a pizza place, which it did down here. On the far right, which you can't see, also I put in one beach volleyball court, and I'm going to talk to you as to why I did that and why it's relevant here in a minute. Now, unfortunately, in Ottawa, we had a tornado in September 2018 that really finished this plaza. It just attacked the village of Dunrobin, where I built probably 120 plus homes, and of course this plaza and some other things as well. And it destroyed it. Basically, it was condemned. So the plaza had to come down, and it was in fact demolished. These are two sisters, the Delhunt sisters, that when they were young women, I put into the original Plaza to run the Dunrobin meat and grocery store, the Lickbow store, and the beer store, and they were very, very successful. But you can see the backdrop is the site now completely bare of construction, and they were very successful, and they were thinking, well, we'd like to rebuild our store in that location. It made them both wealthy people. So the plaza was insured, thank goodness, and it was rebuilt, and you can see it was under construction for quite some time, and then it was finished. And it has been standing in this condition now for, it must be getting close to a year. There are no tenants in. And in fact, I think in the next picture, you'll see that it's entirely vacant. And you'll notice that the tornado wiped out the mall, but the slab was still in good enough condition that they rebuilt this quote unquote new mall on top of the old slab. You can see that here, but it's completely vacant right now. And it is now being subject to vandalism. You can see a broken window here. I took this picture, I think, yesterday, and you know, it's kind of a sad situation. No tenants, people, young people, probably teenagers, are you know, attacking the building and violating